So you're wanting to make some changes and looking at where to start. Great place to start is juicing. Why? Juicing is going to really help reset the palate and detox the body and the liver, putting you in a much better place for what you want to do and have it being an ongoing change that lasts. So I'm going to give you a simple recipe that you can juice to get you started. So why are we changing our palate? What does that mean? So many people are out there stuck in the fast food or let's just go out to eat mode, or maybe stuck on the sugar train. It's common. Do not worry, you are not alone, and it is absolutely, there is a way to change it. The palate gets used to certain flavors, especially those chemicals, those preservatives, the food dyes. They keep you addicted and wanting more. Sugar especially. Once you have ingested a lot of sugar, you just want more sugar. And then you have parasites who are really telling you to feed them, right? So we want to get rid of all of that. And a great way to do it is to do a juice cleanse. This does not mean you have to go extreme, because if that doesn't work for your lifestyle or your body, that's okay. You're not alone. At least you can do it to start. Doing a 3-day juice cleanse is a good way to start. 5-day juice cleanse, even better. Complete reset of the taste buds then, and your liver is going to feel a little better and a little cleaner, if you will, and ready for what you want to give it. But even if you can't do that, you can do a juice a day. That will help replace a certain sugary meal with a juice. That'll help. But if you could juice everything during the day and eat a good whole food meal for dinner, try to do it without a lot of heavy oils or fats just for the first 3 days. That'll get you really far in changing your taste buds. Making sure that during that time, you're staying away from preservatives and food dyes and the fast foods. So that means prep your food beforehand. Prep your juicing beforehand. It is really hard and time consuming sometimes to have to fresh juice every morning. So to make it easier, you can literally juice for 3 days, up to 3 days, and then that's it. The rest really needs to be fresh. Or you can juice several things and fresh freeze. And yes, you will lose a little bit of nutrients in the freezer and a little bit of nutrients each day it sits in the fridge up to the 3-day mark. But it's better than nothing, and it really still helps to reset the palate and what you're craving. And that is a huge boost to get you where you want to be. So this is going to be a really simple recipe to help you going. When you go to change your palate and your diet, especially from sugar, you want to make sure that your juice recipe reflects that, and you're doing about 75 to 85 or 90% vegetable and just a small amount of your fruit. If you're going to do a fruit, you can do a green apple, has less sugar, or take the apples that aren't as high in sweetener, and that'll really help. So this recipe is going to incorporate that. I will give you the recipe and then give you some options of what you can do to change it up. You can also take this whole recipe and alter it to what your body needs or doesn't. So this is a good basic reset for anybody. You can do the same juice for several days or change it slightly. This is what I'm choosing for me to start with. So I like doing greens, but since I'm really healing up some thyroid issues, I'm not choosing the cruciferous greens raw just yet until I clear some things. So I'm going to stick with romaine lettuce. It's a little darker. Dark leafy green lettuce works as well. This is very, very helpful for a green. And then if you'll notice, I'm pulling in some herbs that are also going to count as greens. I have a pretty good amount of fresh parsley. Parsley is going to be a good detoxifier, even specifically for the lungs and getting rid of mucus in the body. It's amazing for that, and blood sugar reset. and cilantro. I love cilantro. It's a good liver detoxer, and did you know it can help start to detox gently those heavy metals out of the body and even microplastics. So this is very, very helpful to add that in there too fresh. Then I've added ginger because ginger is a good anti-inflammatory, digestive aid to help the guts really flow well, right? And then of course give you a big pop of flavor for a change in the palate. Then I'm adding a little bit of lemon. You could do lime as well if you want. And I'm only going to put half of this in my recipe. And then 1 apple to all of this. This is actually a large apple. I usually do slightly smaller, so I probably won't put this whole thing into my juice for a single juice. You can, again, change this up and add things like celery. It's a great detoxifier, as a lot of you know, and changing blood sugar and the palate. And cucumber. Cucumber's a great way to get the good needs that you need to nourish water content in the body and not add some of the things that you're looking to avoid and really reset the palate to something a little bit better. So things I would not juice if I'm looking for a juice reset. I'd be careful of the really high sugar content things like berries or maybe even melons. Overripe fruit like an overripe plum or pear, it's too much sugar. I'm going to go with something a little less. And then I would also maybe even put turmeric in here as well. But the things I would not put in there would be things that are going to be a little too harsh for, let's say, thyroid. Radishes are amazing detoxifiers if you don't have thyroid problems. If you have thyroid problems, I'm going to look to avoid those, switch it out for something different. So these are things that you can do. Let's take a look at what's going in this juice. This juice is going to make a pretty good amount, you'll see. And I'm using a full head of romaine lettuce, the whole thing. Half of a large lemon. So if you're using a lime, it may only be 1 lime, or a smaller lemon, maybe it's the full lemon. I'm only going to put about this much ginger. I say only, that's a good amount for this proportion wise. So you can see right here, this is probably about 2 inches worth of ginger. And then I'm going to put half of a bunch of fresh parsley. That's a pretty good amount for 1 juice. And half of an amount of a bunch of cilantro. So that's about what I'm going to put in this recipe so you can take a look and see how it balances. Now remember, parsley and cilantro are good flavor and strong herbs, so smaller amounts of it compared to my green that I'm relying on, which is going to be that awesome lettuce. Let's take a look at what this looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that the juicer I'm using is a good quality one. If you don't have a quality one, it's a place to start. But I like to use the ones that are slow masticating, or even the twin engine one, or you can use a centrifuge, but those usually don't get as much of the juice. That's why I prefer this. I use my Omega here because I know it's going to get everything out that I really need. When juicing, I like to kind of put this in order of what's easier for my juicer. Knowing my juicer, I'll start with my greens because I can pop the ginger and the apple and the lemon afterwards to push everything through, just in case something's gotten caught up in there. So when I start with my romaine lettuce, you'll notice I have washed it carefully and I'm doing a few leaves at a time. I'm not going to overwhelm it. I'm going to let the juicer carry it through all the way to the end. Then I'm going to switch it up a little bit and put my ginger in there. There are special ginger juicers, but I like mine to be all in one. I don't like to have to set up 2 pieces of equipment for one thing, and that's why I'm going to just put that juicer right in now, the ginger right in now. So next I'm going to pull the parsley And I'm going to include the parsley stems. They're just fine, and there are good nutrients in it. Just knowing your juicer, it's gonna help you to know whether you can include the stems or not, because oftentimes the stems will actually get caught up in the gears and you'll have to stop, clean your juicer, and go again. That's okay, just know you're gonna pull your leaves off and that's what you're gonna juice for your juicer. Then I'm gonna take my lemon. Notice I have cut the peel off and I'm not including the seeds. It's okay if a little seed pops in there, but I'm not really including them. Next, I'm going to do my cilantro. Again, it's the same thing as the parsley here, and I'm going to be including the stems. Again, make sure your juicer can handle the stems. If not, it's the same thing, and you're gonna peel off the leaves and just juice those leaves. I'm making sure that it's all going through and you can see it catching in the bowl. It's so pretty. The last thing I'm gonna do is my apple. It's nice and chunky and I know my juicer's gonna use this to push through the rest of the greens all the way through. That's how I know that it's making it through and I've cleared it all. Notice that I have taken the seeds out. It's okay to juice some. My juicer's gonna filter that out. I'm not really getting all the seeds in there, but if your juicer is a little more simple, you're pulling those seeds out completely. And when we're done, look at this amazing juice. And then when you're done, you'll have a great full glass of amazing nutrients that'll totally change the palate. And this right here is a good solid breakfast or lunch. Cheers.